Katz's Deli. If your destination is New York, it's on your list no doubt. If you are a New Yorker, it's probably on your list too. Under a flickering neon light, people from every part of the globe are eagerly anticipating their first or their 100th go at this. The walls haven't changed, the recipe the same. This drooling walk to the counter is something people have been doing for more than a century. You take in your surroundings. The battle scars are present, worn with pride. A collage of random celebrity pictures is hard to ignore. Film stars, athletes, and mob bosses, both real and not, jostle for your eye. The cast of The Sopranos have been here. You like The Sopranos, especially season 3. You're now considering becoming a mob boss. Yeah, you'd make a good mob boss. A New York greeting grabs your attention. It's your turn. A pastrami on rye awaits you, as classic as they come. No need for change. Change is not on the menu at Katz's, but that's kind of the point. It was the Iceland brothers' deli back in 1888 that started it all. A small deli on Ludlow Street in New York's Lower East Side. The small deli operated for 15 years until 1903, which saw the arrival of Willie Katz, who joined the brothers' venture, and the name was subsequently changed to Iceland and Katz. Eventually, the Iceland brothers were frozen out, after Willie Katz bought them out along with his cousin, Benny. Katz's Delicatessen was official. In April 1917, their landlord, Harry Tarowski, bought into the partnership, and they were on the road to cured meat history. But first, they moved to a new location, across the street, to a vacant lot on Houston Street, or Houston Street, as it is apparently pronounced after a Dutch immigrant of the same name. There are a number of things that makes Katz's Deli stand out, and a big reason is that Katz is a scion of New York neighborhood delis. This is a big deal. Neighborhood delis were, and still are, to a lesser extent, a big deal. A window into a time when your local neighborhood deli was viewed with communal pride, at a time of uncertainty in a new faraway land. The recently arrived brought with them the familiar. New York neighborhoods were gaining distinct identities, and Jewish immigrants created a market for kosher food reminiscent of Eastern Europe, among other places. This is the scene that produced so many of what would later become the lifeblood of New York neighborhoods. Regional variations offering food of the motherland, with a kick-ass kosher pickle on the side. Katz's offers a wide range of Jewish American fare, but the pastrami sandwich is a showstopper. So where did Katz's giant hunk of cured kosher meat sandwich originate from? Pastrami. First of all, there was always many variations on a theme coming from different parts of the world. But to keep things kosher, let's go with this one. Pastrami came from the word pastrama, a cured meat, typically goose, brought to America in the late 19th century by Romanian immigrants. This had evolved from the Ottoman version of pasterma that had found its way along the spice route to Eastern Europe. The switch to beef, and in particular brisket, was due to the abundance of beef and low cost compared to alternative meats. How the name changed from pastrama to pastrami is not as clear cut, but being in the same vicinity as salami probably has something to do with it. Either way, something went awry, which brings us to the bread. Rye. Has to be rye bread. If you want to fit in, your pastrami needs to park itself between two slices of rye bread, for the authentic Katz's experience. Again, rye bread comes from Eastern Europe, and it's still a common bread found in bakeries. A distinctive pattern of marble rye gives it a unique appearance, although a plain rye bread is equally, if not more, ubiquitous. The piled high sandwich of today is most definitely a Jewish American concoction. People in the old world, hundreds of years ago, were not changing into stretchy trousers in preparation for a sandwich. The curing process was about necessity, about survival, definitely not intended as a unique selling point in a world of abundance. The history is long and the meat is aged slowly, but you'd better know your order. This is New York after all. There is no time for nonsense. There is no fancy technology to greet you, no touchscreens or robots. Instead, a human being hands you a ticket. You're now in full Willy Wonka mode. Join a line. There is more than one. Hand your ticket to the person behind the counter who will make your order. Hand them the ticket. They mark your order on it. Don't lose your ticket. It's a $50 charge. You hand your ticket in on the way out, and that lets them know how much to charge you. Okay, easy. Oh, but if you want fries or a drink, you need to use a separate line. Yep, that's right. So if you're on your own, good luck. If you're in a group, you better have established communications and strong group exercise skills. So what if you fancy something other than pastrami on rye with mustard? The corned beef is just as legendary, or the Reuben, all of which will set you back north of $20. But if anywhere can justify more than $20 for a sandwich, it's going to be Katz's, and for good reason. There is more than just the mile-high sandwiches, and Katz's is a Jewish deli after all, so there is plenty of variations that you would expect, and some you might not, if this is unfamiliar cuisine. So soups are not some afterthought, simply there as a token gesture to thin people. The matzo ball soup is legit, and of course, some good old-fashioned chicken noodle soup. The cure, of course, to all ailments. During World War II, all three sons of the owners were serving in the armed forces, so it was a family tradition to send food out to them. This spawned the company slogan, "Send a salami to your boy in the army." I imagine they were popular. If like the boys in the army, you can't make it to Katz's Deli in person, and you live in the US at least, you can get a taste of Katz's in the post. This is no ordinary local deli after all, and Katz's knows this. No matter where you are in the country, you can order various boxes and packs of delicious food you can smugly point to at work when someone suggests going on the lunchtime sandwich run. Just don't pull your salami out at work. Katz's Deli has been family run for over 100 years now. The current owners, the Dell family, taking over in 1988. The face is gradually changed, but the process remains very much the same. Great meat is something of pride with commercial profit-driven methods diluting the practice. Katz's states their product can take a full 30 days to cure compared to 36 hours for commercial grade products. You get what you pay for at Katz's. A move that turned out to be a savvy decision was the purchase of the deli's building. In a city like New York where prices have soared in recent decades, this has allowed Katz's to remain the same even when the world around them has changed. Rent would be astronomical and potentially make the current business model untenable, a common occurrence for a lot of businesses that don't own the bricks and mortar their business is built on. Easier said than done, I know. So much emphasis on the Katz's brand is the lack of change, and that the building is a big part of the success. This is where the memories are. It's not merely a name or a recipe. According to the New York Times, Katz's Deli sold 2 neighborhood buildings and the air rights for about $17 million, paving the way for a developer to build an 11-story condominium next door. $17 million can go a long way towards keeping the lights on, staff wages, maybe a jet ski. So the pastrami is guaranteed for now, at least, and you can live in an apartment with a gentle garlic aroma. You think by looking at the queues and the ever-consistent fundamentalist devotion, the Katz's Deli would be put in every neighborhood, strip mall, and airport in the country, if not the world. But that's not really how Katz's Deli works. I'm not sure doing that would work. It's hard to move authentic history around like a travelling circus. A New York neighborhood is no nonsense. It's old world meets new. At a time when you're told to adapt to survive, change is good, and keep moving forward, there's a comfort from the old world. You want to be a mob boss? Be a mob boss. You want to wave your salami around at work? Go for it. You want ketchup instead of mustard? You are going to hear about it. That is Katz's Deli. That is New York. Take a ticket and get in line. Just make sure it's the right line. It can be confusing. All things Katz's Deli. Let me know. Thanks for watching.